Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Today we're continuing a scenario chain that was sent in by Louden Doney, one of the naval architects. This is part 2, I'll link to part 1 down below in the comment section. Now, the story is as follows. The IGN is completing its sweep across the nearby regions of the Pacific. All that stands in our way is a token US force at the Philippines. We have managed to trap them between our main fleet and a task force of lighter ships. They have chosen to engage our task force in an attempt to escape from our main fleet. Stop them, and ensure the totality of our naval dominance. The war in China is grinding to a standstill. We need uncontested access to the vast resources of the Pacific Islands. I'll be playing as Japan, 1927. The starting range is 14,000 meters, and the design will be a heavy cruiser. Now, this task force from the United States that's in my way is consisted of 3 light cruisers and 3 destroyers. They're slightly older, they have a numerical advantage of 1 ship over my 5 ships, so it's going to be potentially a torpedo-infested party here. The objective is to sink the 3 cruisers. The sinking of all 3 light cruisers would be considered a definitive victory, but the destroyers should not be completely ignored. Keep your ships in good working order when practical. Our dockyards are already strained with constant repairs and production, and the Americans are already beginning to overtake our pace. Now, as an overall note on this scenario, you may design a ship class of your choosing. Range must be set to medium. The general outcome of this battle will affect the design of future engagements. The current status? We have total superiority. The United States Navy is reeling after their fleet was decimated out of Pearl Harbor. It will take them years to regain the strength necessary to challenge us in open battle. But that day will come. So, heavy cruiser design, something that takes on light cruisers and destroyers. Let's go. Now, in case you're thinking, hold on, this design is not particularly balanced, the way that this scenario is set up, that's actually because of my fortuitous events in the previous encounter, where I was able to do a lot of damage and thereby decimating most of the US fleet. That means that they simply don't have too many ships available. I suppose that, had I done poorly in the previous scenario, it would have been a completely different story, and there is a high likelihood that this scenario would be far more difficult. Now, considering the threat, I'm going to go with a high-end sonar that is as high-end as I can get it, sonar 2. We're going to go with anti-flood 3, anti-torp 3. I'm going to go with an aux 4 engine. I'd rather have this thing not have that much firepower but be able to dodge than not be able to dodge and just eat torpedoes, because that's something that heavy cruisers generally don't take too kindly to. Since the heavy cruiser might not be that maneuverable, I'm looking at a turning circle of 490. I'm going to go with some more range, because it will also buy me some more time to dodge inbound torpedoes. Now, as for the design, it's a long, sleek ship. Looks like it has a, well, not that much displacement, 13.2. We can work with that. I think 1 super funnel should be enough. Might actually be too much for what I'm trying to do with it. An induced set of boilers is going to give me 90% engine efficiency. If I go to forced, yeah, we're getting 200 tons displacement here. Balanced, no, I think induced is good enough. Now, for firepower, I'm dealing with light cruisers. That means that firing 11-inch guns at them is a bit much. I think that 8-inch guns would do the trick. Since we're going to go with the 8-inch, we might not have as much displacement as I would initially like, because those 8-inch guns are a bit heavier. But still, they will pack a lot of punch, and they will probably be fairly quick in blowing away the heavy cruiser, or sorry, the light cruisers from the Americans. At least that is the plan. If at all possible, I also want a barbette over here. Interesting that I can put it there. Does that mean it's super firing? Can I fire a hold on. No. It is supposedly one for a secondary. No, it's not. Wait. Standard barbette for secondaries. This is something that's kind of inherited, if you will, from a battleship. But yeah, this might actually work. The problem, however, is that it's a bit too close to the secondary tower. Now, if I put it over here... Doesn't have to look good. No, that doesn't want to fit. See, normally you cannot fit main guns on secondary barbettes. But because this design is a bit of a blend, I think, at least editor-wise, it seems like it's actually possible. Curiously enough. Turn that back. In case you want to rotate stuff, press R and T. It's a question that comes up in the comment section time and time again. How do you rotate stuff? R and T, that is the magic. Now, most of these hulls have quite a bit of flexibility. This one, not as much. So this is as far as I can put that barbette. Let's see. 8-inch gun immediately comes into contact with that thing. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. It's married to the secondary tower. And because of that, it cannot be moved separately. So it's not like I place this thing on the deck and then move the secondary tower away from it. The game won't let me. What it might let me do... I think I would need a smaller gun, but in that case, this barbette really doesn't make that much sense. Because I can just put smaller 4-inch guns simply on the deck. So that's what I'll do. Let's move it slightly farther forward and then pull this turret back in. Because there are still a couple of light cruisers that need dealing with. Why do I have a hefty starboard weight offset? I think I might have shifted the tower off-center. Anyway, propellant is going to be high TNT. Safest, doesn't blow up in your face, usually. Let's go with semi-auto loaders and advanced hydraulic turrets. I don't need the max of it. Secondary guns. These range out to 10.3. Again, I'd prefer not to get too close to the destroyers, because they can be quite dangerous to a ship that has a turning circle of, it was 490? 422. It's not as bad, but it's still not any kind of an encounter that I'm particularly looking for. Does this thing want to turn or not? I think that... If I shift this thing farther forward, I might be able to create enough deck space here to get that 4-inch gun, or maybe even the 5-inch gun, to sit properly. Like that. There we go. Excellent firing arcs. Both to port, or both to the bow and stern. We just need to balance off the stern a little more. Unfortunately, even with control or shift, I cannot move this barbette anymore. It's pretty much stuck in its ways there. But I might be able to shift the main tower slightly farther back. 3.2. 2.3. I suppose you don't want to move. No, that doesn't want to move. I can still upgrade the displacement. So I can make it a cruiser of 14,700 tons. But I'm not sure if that actually buys me that much when it comes to deck space. See, it doesn't really do that much for me. They do look a little out of place, though. Well, they do and they don't. They look a little out of place. Like, why would you put a 5-inch secondary right there? At the same time, I imagine that there might be room down here. If it's not for the engineering section. It's not for all of your machinery. Anyway, let's put on some 3-inch guns as well. Because especially this secondary tower has a couple of nice mounts for it. This one too. And 4 weight offset still needs to be addressed. Oh, that turret won't go any farther back. Okay. I can shift this thing. That might give me some displacement towards the back. 0.3. Oh, now it's off-center. Yeah, we can't have that. Center line you go. Aft weight offset 0.7. See, that's easier to manage because I can just slide this thing back forward. 0.4, 0.7. That means that there's a 0.1 in here too. Nope. 0.4. Okay. It still gives me a bit of room to either add more bulkheads and or more armor. Engagement range, I think it's unlikely to take plunging fire, so I'm not going to boost the deck armor. I will boost the belt armor a little bit. I'm going to go to 7.5 inch and 4.5. Turrets, 10 inch. Conning tower, also 10 inch. We're still looking at a pretty comfortable displacement. I still have 1,000 tons spare. In that case, we're going to boost the rate of fire, meaning that these 8-inch guns put out a shell every 17.3 seconds. Or, well, 3 shells, rather. Electro-hydraulical turrets will augment our ability to chase down destroyers as they're circling around the ship. Anti-torpedo ballista 4. Maximum torpedo propeller shaft. What the hell is a torpedo anyway? Increase this to 33. Yeah, 33.5. By doing this, I hope to get a bit more speed so that I can chase down any destroyers that might be running away. Because it's not unusual that they try and do that. So, that's the ship. This is the Mogami. Not quite the Mogami as you know it, but still, hopefully, an impressive cruiser. I'm wondering what the AI cooked up for my light cruisers and destroyer. Or, well, light cruiser, singular, and 3 destroyers. Let's have a look. The destroyers. Ideally, I would keep everything in one shape, well, in one piece. Because, as was mentioned in the scenario, you have to be careful. The docks are already overwhelmed. And I'm probably going to need all of these ships. Now, these boys carry a lot of torpedoes. I'm thinking... No, not even increased. Okay. Surprised. We have 12 torpedo launchers. The range is somewhat limited at 8.5 kilometers. They're blisteringly quick at 60 knots. The destroyers themselves, 42.5. Meaning their turning circle's not great. Many bulkheads are going to hopefully keep them safe. 4-inch guns in an ABX format and a couple of 2-inch guns amidships. Almost no armor, but then again, it's a DD. Krupp, okay, Krupp 1 armor. No, wouldn't be my choice. Autoloader and Stereo 3, Hydro 3. Okay. Not terrible. Then we have the light cruiser armed with... That's it? Okay. Armed with 4 6-inch barrels, 1 quadruple torpedo tube, 1 triple, and a couple of duals. These are all in the 18-inch caliber, 59 knots, meaning that these two are fast torpedoes. Survivability? Not so good. The plan is to keep the Doney close to the cruiser. So I'm going to tell you to follow the cruiser. And the DDs are going to be their own little division. Enemy was spotted to the north, so behind me. Now, even at slightly less than full speed, the Mogami cannot keep up. The light cruiser is going to be slightly better at it, but the Mogami, the heavy cruiser, just can't. She's not nearly fast enough for that. It does look a bit weird here, this open space, where actually a funnel should be. But, oh well. We'll just have to make it work. Fujinami's going, oh, crap, there's a cruiser in my way. You just saw the AI stutter, if you will. Just sort of reconsider and go, oh, hold on, what was that? Right, let me pause it for a second and take a screenshot. What sort of an angle shall I take today? Something like that. Alright, we have an identification, or at least preliminary. These look like small guns. 6-inch guns, but 12 of them. Augmented with some... yeah, 3-inch guns and torpedo launchers. Not terrible. Is the Mogami in range? 15 clicks out. Yeah, I can sort of hit them at 15 clicks. Marginally, though. DDs, we're going to turn that way. Light cruiser is following. Very good. Light cruiser speed. 35.5. She's trying to race towards the Megami to line up with the formation. That's good. Now, by the way that these guys are maneuvering, I can probably line up a torpedo shot straight from the front. The question is, do I want to? Because if I try and torpedo them from the front, not only will I present them with an excellent opportunity to dodge, I'm also going to make it pretty easy to get them to turn broadside, which in this case is actually not good for me. Because if they turn broadside, they can bring more of those 6-inch guns to bear. But it looks like they're already turning broadside. Alright, DDs, you can now go ham. You can go to full speed. Normal formation. Accuracy here is probably not that good. By the way, I know that I set my heavy cruiser speed, or my heavy cruiser range to long, where it only should have been medium. But I guess that this Japanese heavy cruiser can just go even farther than was initially planned. Or required. What is it that your guns are training? What? Hold on. They haven't spotted me. It seems. Chance to hit 1%. Okay. Range 9 or 7. It's like they're heading away from me for some reason. We also have eyes on their DDs at this point. Interesting setup. With the guns over there and the, well, side mounts, I suppose. Single barrel 5-inch guns, 8 2-inch guns. And I'm seeing 1 torpedo launcher amidships. This should not be that hard. Which is excellent in the eyes of the campaign, because it allows me to get control over the Pacific Islands. Or, well, the vast Pacific resources, as was originally stated in the scenario. It's almost like the guys over here haven't even spotted the destroyer yet. Yeah, now they've seen the Hibiki. Okay, now we're going to smoke up. Seeing as we have a nice amount of torpedoes aboard, why not send some of those out to meet the enemy? Turning to starboard. You're in range. Are you heading out of range? Yeah, you're heading out of range. Okay, new target, the other light cruiser. They've also spotted the Fujinami. Ah, hit. Flooding on the light cruiser there. Flooding quickly at that. Very quickly, in fact. I think that they're looking at few bulkheads. Works for me. That's the design that they ran with. By all means. Torpedoes away. There is the, well, the fairly unlikely situation that I might hit the destroyer that's behind it. I don't really expect it, but you never quite know with the AI. Gonna have the DDs do a turn, because we might need them to catch up to the light cruisers again. Ah, ID confirmed. Salt Lake City. The Salt Lake City has torpedoed the destroyers in return. These things are less easily detected, but we seem to have eyes on them already. So we're going to turn these guys even more than we originally were planning. They have detected my torpedoes. That's a hell of a range. They detected my torpedoes at 4 kilometers. Wow. Then again, these things are pretty easy to spot. Visibility plus 30%. Anyway, the Salt Lake City. Minimum bulkheads. 6-inch guns. Currently locked on a destroyer. She's capable of doing 39.5 knots at a turning circle of 589. Oof. So not only are you not that great at dodging torpedoes, you're also very vulnerable to them. Because anything that strikes that ship is likely to get, well, pretty massacred. Speaking of, I'm going to have to do some manual destroyer dodging here. Actually, you can make it. You're gonna need to turn this way, you're gonna need to turn this way, sort of. Looks like they're all responding to my torpedoes. Salt Lake City, although she was seriously flooded, very capable of getting rid of that flooding. Very capable. Also got the light cruiser Chester, destroyer Cochrane, 57 knot torpedoes, at a range of 6.3. And the Santa Fe is over there and running away. New target, the Cochrane over there. I don't want that thing coming too close. Confirm dodging is working. Akatsuki's fine. Hibiki can turn. Can you turn on a dime? Yeah, you can. You're fine. Hit from the light cruiser against their light cruiser for a bit of damage. Looks like we hit the Chester for 5%. Oh, this is tricky, gentlemen. Cochrane and Cowie are so close together that it's very likely that I'll hit one when I'm well, unintentionally, or I'm going to hit the other when I'm targeting, for example, the Cochrane. I might hit the, what was it? The Cowie behind it. Let's see if those 5-inch guns have an opportunity. Oh, we hit him. How, though? Salt Lake City got so much warning that there were torps inbound. She was warned by the DD. She took evasive action and then she still steered into them. And now she's going to get hit again. Well, if it's going to be like that, it's your mistake. 3-inch guns will open up at 6.8 kilometer range. It's just that our accuracy right now leaves quite a lot to be desired. A light cruiser... I'm not a big fan of that light cruiser design. It's more of a big destroyer at this point. Akatsuki's diff 5. Join diff 5. Join diff 4 now. Don't torp. Target the Cowie. No, they decided to smoke up. What's your sonar like? Sonar 1. Yeah, Sonar 1 allows you to detect torpedoes far farther away than you normally would. And combine that with the torpedo visibility of plus 30%, and you get destroyers which are very capable of spotting torpedoes. Doesn't mean that the AI is very good at dodging them, though. Now, I think that this is a fairly comfortable range. The Mogami is about 6.5 clicks out. That does skirt towards the edge of the torpedo range on the destroyer, but it also means that I still have enough warning, especially with the plus 28 visibility. So I should be fine. Akatsuki launched torpedoes. I have no idea where that third light cruiser went, but it seems to be running away. Here we go. Looks like these guys are coming in for a torpedo attack at this point. Hit to the main tower. Few bulkheads. The AI goes for few bulkheads so often. I don't get it. Now getting a bit too close. Come on, Mogami. Make it look good. There's the 5-inch guns going off. I think we might even have the 3-inch guns going off at this point. Yep, 3-inch guns are also mingling in. Range back to 6. Very good. No other torpedoes have been reported. Again, it might look like a butchery. It might actually be a butchery, considering that I've taken exactly 48 points of damage. But it's mostly down to the scenario. Initially, I was very successful. Potentially more so than they were expecting, than Louden Doney was expecting. And because of that, I'm sort of getting rewarded with an easier second scenario. And if I do well here, I might have more ships in the next. Now, before I forget, please subscribe to the channel. I know I'm already 25 minutes in and you're supposed to ask this within the first 15 seconds. But subscribing to the channel really helps me out. The channel is growing at a nice pace and I would like to keep that going. So if you like the naval theme that I have going with Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts currently, From the Depths, and of course War on the Sea, then join me for the next episode. Subscribe and you'll automatically get notified. Looks like the Cochrane is now taking a bit of damage. Nothing critical yet. I'm still looking for engine damage. Not getting it. But because these guys turned back, it looks like there's zero risk of them getting torpedoed whatsoever. You know what, we're gonna... I'm not even sure what the Hibiki's up to. But no worries, I can send this guy out to find and potentially kill that light cruiser out there. Because that's what these fast destroyers might be excellent at. Just hunting down escaping ships. Let's switch fire from the 3-inch to the Cowie. Like these guys over here are not even putting up any kind of a fight. Sure, they're shooting back at me a little bit, but they haven't done any kind of damage to the Megami, nor to the Doney. The only ship that got damaged was Akatsuki, and she only took 2%. So she's fine. Range is fairly close now, but I know that the torpedoes are amidships, so they cannot launch those. I'm kind of using the ship against them. Their own ship, that is. But they're turning to port now. So I might have to pay some closer attention to what they're doing at this point. No, they're turning back to starboard. Alright, that's good. We're going to chase them down. Huh. The Ammon is coming in. It's your target, don't torp him. We're still looking for that light cruiser. Somewhere out here, I thought it was. Anywhere? No? No. What? Well, that was unexpected. One of my light cruiser, well, my only light cruiser, was sending torpedoes against the destroyer and managed to hit it. With, what is it, an 18? An 18-incher. The Cowie is getting a bit more water inside the ship, but it seems like that 18-inch torpedo didn't really do that much damage. Destroyers don't carry any kind of an anti-torpedo protection system. They don't have a torpedo blister. Doesn't mean that they're taking as much damage from torpedoes as you would initially expect. I mean, these tin cans... If you get hit by a torpedo in one of those, you'd think, especially with very few bulkheads, that you'd very quickly sink. But I've seen these things take pretty impressive amounts of damage and not really, well, not really get killed off, if at all. Might need to inform the Chester that her attention is unwanted. Main and secondary on the destroyer, torpedoes on the Chester. If you don't know how to do that, by the way, if you have a ship selected, like I have now with the Fujinami, just look at the target, and on the bottom right hand side is going to set, or it's going to say set target. All weapons is just right click. If you want to have specific sets of weapons, like in my case the torpedoes, shift and right click, and now the Chester is selected as the target. Torpedoes away against the Chester. I fully expect the Ammon to detect them almost immediately, but she is heading away, so maybe I can get a hit on the Chester, and these are more substantial than the 18-inch that were launched by the light cruiser. So it's not unlikely that they will sink, if not cripple, the Chester. And it looks like the Hibiki is under attack from the light cruiser over there. 8 clicks out, but I can't see it. But the AI seems really all over the place today. Not sure why. There we go. Ammon has detected the torps. And it looks like the Chester is immediately responding to that and turning away. I don't get why the AI is so split up at the moment. I thought that they had this fixed. That ships were going to stay in formation more than they did previous. And that by that, the battles were going to be more interesting. But this is just a pushover. Fujinami, many bulkheads, you can live. That thing is 6.5 clicks out and we still can't see it. Torpedo. Where is it going? Fujinami? Definitely Fujinami. Ah, we've spotted the Santa Fe. At a range of 6.5. Santa Fe just launched torps. I thought I saw an exclamation mark there. Fujinami took a bit of flooding. Capable of getting rid of that real quick. And we're going to have the Akatsuki follow her. Not strictly, in the sense that I'm not in the same formation, but just overall. Hibiki's smokescreen is going to last another 2 minutes, so I might be able to get another click or so closer before I'm forced to drop torps and turn away. At that point, though, it's anybody's guess whether that light cruiser is going to see that. What? Whoa. Whether they're going to see that coming. Okay, I did hit the Chester. With the torpedoes from, I think, the Akatsuki. The Chester is completely messed up. This is such a slaughter. Unfortunately, the Hibiki is getting quite wet. We need to fix that. There's the torpedo salvo. Chester is down. Anti-flooding systems in full swing. You guys together engage that target. Destroyed main gun. I'll take it. Now we're just chasing down the Cochrane, which I thought was pretty badly flooded, but seems fine nowadays. Anti-flood 1. Auxiliary 3. Okay, that helps. But seriously, light 5-inch shells. That doesn't do very much now, does it? Come on, Hibiki. I'm not sure what my torpedo tubes are doing. We are giving him enough lead. Oh, I think the AI knows that the torpedo's not going to get to our target. How fast is that light? 39 knots? Okay. That's bad news, because it means that the only target, or the only ships that I have capable of catching that, will be the destroyers. Which is something that that ship happens to be an excellent counter to. So that's a bit of a problem. And that's a bit rude, Mr. Cochrane. This is why I had that high-end sonar suite on this ship. You torpedoed, right? Yeah. Okay, Akatsuki, charge in. Hibiki, geez, you're still fighting your flooding. I'm gonna have to just pull this ship out of the fight altogether, because it might come in handy in the next part of the campaign. I don't want to fight this thing just yet. I first want to focus on this fight and the one against the Cochrane. How mobile are these? 351. Because I'm considering doing a close-range torpedo attack, but I also have to be aware of a potential torpedo attack by the Ammon itself. Because she's almost loaded. And if I look deep, I can see the Megami in the distance. Turn, Akatsuki. There she goes. That's exactly what I was waiting for. The torpedo attack, because now I can just pull a sharp turn to port, charge right in, and deliver those torpedoes at point blank range. Akatsuki goes through the drift, brings her 4-inch guns back to bear on the target, and since I remembered that they are A, B, and X, I don't particularly have to go broadside. I can just charge in on the target, making for a direct line, closing the distance as quickly as possible, and then at about 500 meters we're going to swing out and make sure that the torpedoes are going to be delivered really, really close. Cochrane is getting reloaded. Range 700. The only ship in distance out there is the Hibiki. So I have to keep an eye on her. I wonder if we can land these. Fast is good. 60 knots is better. Torpedoes away. Akatsuki ran out of torpedoes. The Ammon is going, oh snap. And she is probably not going to make that turn. Because we're sending out a whole spread, a whole bouquet of these things. Yeah, you're done for. Very, very done for. Excellent. Akatsuki, however, has taken quite a bit of damage. I'm going to pull her out of the fight. And I am curious to see where these torps are going to end up. Not close to the Hibiki. Not close to the Fujinami. Any particular reason why we're not targeting the Cochrane over here? It's a bit surprising. Maybe I had the wrong target selected for the Megami here. Ideally, sink her before she launches her torps. Which is going to be pretty soon, and these were fast, 57 knot torpedoes. So I'm not interested in getting too close. 4 clicks is fine. Still gives me enough time to dodge. There are the torpedoes. And that's the last salvo that she'll ever fire. Because she doesn't carry anymore. Also the last salvo because she's about to die. I guess she just doesn't know it yet. Keep punching. There we go. Engine damaged. Actually a bit surprised that she hasn't flooded yet. But that might have had something to do with me not even hitting them. Engine damaged again, but they already fixed the previous. They're running with turbines. I'm surprised they fixed that so soon. Tona's taken a bit of damage, but nothing serious. And she's done. Right. Enemy spotted to the south. Yeah, in the Fujinami's proximity somewhere. Where did that cruiser run off to? Back to 42 knots. This light cruiser could be pretty far away. If she did continue her journey at 39 knots... Oh. Or not. If she did continue her journey at 39 knots, then she's particularly prone to running away. But it looks like she's not doing that. She's staking around and taking shots at the Fujinami. Let's send a salvo back. Wait. Oh, there we go. Fujinami just sent her last salvo, but I thought that they didn't because I didn't see them anymore. Now that light cruiser, as we have seen previous with the other two, they're a bit likely to get hit by torps. They have detected them, But... are you dodging them? I think you are. I think you are. But this fight with the Fujinami is allowing the Megami to get in range. And that is some bad news for the cruiser. Let's keep the Fujinami around. Go to times 10 speed. There she is again. I'm using the Fujinami as bait. Seeing if I can keep the Santa Fe in range. She has spotted me and she's opening up again. But her chance to hit at this speed is not very high. Similarly, my chance to hit is not great either, but I have plenty of shells to keep trying time and time again. I can cut her off if I sail almost due south. Oh crap, there she goes. Turning to run away. Fujinami, smoke up again. Santa Fe still has 1,628 shells of the 6-inch. So it's not like she's going to run out soon. Unfortunately, my range is only 8.8, which does mean that Santa Fe is officially within range. But we're doing so many maneuvers with this little destroyer that I think it's hard for them to keep their guns on target. Range 12.2. She continues to head away. Let's feint another attack. Oh. Megami, time to turn to starboard a bit. Sorry, I said let's feint another attack. The proper term is let's feign another attack, not feint. Come on, hit him. I'm gonna flood him so we can slow them down. Because that thing continues to power through the water at its full speed. Well, it's only the AI, really, that's stopping them from running away. There we go. Flooding and engine damage. That's going to be potentially lethal to the Santa Fe. Because now she cannot run away and my accuracy is getting upped. There we go. Engine is back on. And the flooding is going down very quickly. Look at that. Props to the Santa Fe for that. 8.6 kilometer range. Accuracy 3.2. Come on. Buoyancy completely restored. Okay. Santa Fe's capability to pen this ship might not even exist. 5%. Once again, Santa Fe floods very quickly. 37%. This time around, it's her engineering space that's damaged, meaning that those engines cannot be fixed. The water cannot be pumped out of the compartments. The ship will slow down. And also further attempts to get rid of the water. Oh crap, they're not completely... Never mind. Never mind, just ignore all of that. I thought that the engineering spaces were completely and irreparably finished because they could not be pumped. But unfortunately, it seems like that is not true. Santa Fe is still fighting. She's flooding again. Torpedoes safely dodged. There's Fujinami out in the distance. And Santa Fe once again flooded to 40%. Come on. Give me the stern battery. All the guns. That's more like it. Another flooding. She's targeting the Doney. That's bad news for the Doney. I want that ship to survive. I want all of my ships to survive, in fact, and so far they have. So no reason to stop now. There we go. The American squadron has been taken out. This means that the Japanese can now expand further into the Pacific. And it's now up to Louden Doney, one of the naval architects, to come up with the next part of this scenario. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section, and I'll see you soon for the next part.